Hello, welcome back. This is Kenshin1913, and we are Let's Play Gabriel Knight Sins of the Father 20th Anniversary Remake. And in the last episode, we talked to Malia, I believe? Or maybe that was a while back, I don't know. We saw a crash and all that, and now we're in this day 4 or day 3 in here. Let's talk to our artist friend, see if he was able to...
How's it going today?
What? Oh, it's only
do
you.
Some stuff.
Man, I have been jumpy all day. That pattern of yours really freaked me out for some reason. There's just something creepy.
You finished it?
Yeah, and you're welcome to it. Here.
Wow, this is great.
Yeah, just don't like blow up the planet with it or something, okay?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to upset you.
Forget it. I'm probably just being stupid. Do your thing with it, and good luck.
So now we get the item, the reconstructed Veve. And now we gotta come over here and talk to this lady, Madame Lorelei.
Madame Lorelei, the fortune teller, is garbed in a belly dancer's outfit and wears a boa around her neck. A real boa.
Alright, so let's go
Come on, boys, hoopla!
Not a bad idea. Baby, I love the way you move.
Madame Lorelei winks knowingly at Gabriel and twitches her hips.
Yep, she wants me.
Alright, so what you have to do here is she drops the
Thanks, boys.
the veil, so let's pick it up. And as you can see, she has a snake over there, as they mentioned. So what we need to do is take our magnifying glass onto the veil.
Gabriel examines the veil with the magnifying glass. The fortune teller's veil is studded with sequins.
Oh, very nice.
The sequins look a little strange. Why, it's a snake scale.
And if you can see, it's right here.
Gabriel carefully uses the tweezers to remove the snake scale from the veil.
And there we go. Alright, so now let's head back to our inventory. And compare scales.
The iridescent scale is hued olive green. It doesn't seem to match the scale from Lake Pontchartrain.
So probably she didn't do it. Alright, let's give the veil back to Madame Lorelei. Because that's what we're nice to the ladies.
I think this veil belongs to you.
Oh, my veil! I'm always losing those things. You have no idea. Well, darling, you're such a sweetie to return a lady's delicates, and so handsome as well.
Too bad we don't get a close-up of this scene.
Aye.
Just to see
And
what she
since
looks
you
like.
have such a clear interest in fortune-telling, let me see your hands. They look so strong. Perhaps they will make both our fortunes clear, no?
I wish something would.
Strong, yes, and yet so delicate and flexible.
You don't know the half of it.
Oh, good. I see a mysterious woman in your immediate future.
Madame Lorelei winks at Gabriel knowingly.
She is a dangerous one, dark and beautiful. Oh, I see the road of your life forking, and very soon.
The blood drains from Madame Lorelei's face in an instant. Sweat beads on her upper lip.
Are you okay?
There are forces. Oh, God. Beware. Beware.
What is it about me lately?
It's a shame that we actually didn't get, like, see that a little closer. Then it could have been like, what does Madame Lorelei look like? You don't really get a chance to see what she looks like. too much. Alright, so now it's time to head off and take a lesson in Voodoo at Tulane University.
It looks like the lecture is just starting.
And this is Professor Hartridge.
Voodoo is the tribal religion of Africa, but the name Voodoo is actually a banner heading, under which resides an entire body of distinct tribal belief systems. The word voodoo may sound familiar to you. What is known in the States as voodoo is actually an amalgamation of African religious systems, voodoo, and European religions, primarily Catholicism. All of these subcults of African voodoo have certain things in common. The most important is the worship of a pantheon of spirits, instead of the single deity that the Christian and Muslim systems have.
Kind of like the
Some
Greeks.
of these spirits are elementals. Some relate to specific tasks or places. Some represent important tribal leaders who have died. This spirit worship is what makes voodoo so easily adaptable. With all these spirits, it's no problem to add a few more. Say, for example, the Virgin Mary. At the height of tribal Africa, warfare was common. One tribe would conquer another, and the Loa, important in the conqueror's tribal system, would be adopted readily into the conquered tribe's Loa pantheon. In this way, many of the voodoo cults spread and mingled throughout tribal Africa, enriching the belief system and causing innumerable offshoots. The basis for the voodoo religion seems to be as old as man himself.
Minotaur.
It has much in common with many early pagan practices. Animal totems, sympathetic magic, elemental spirits in the trees, the heavens, the bodies of the sick. Africa is believed by many to be the cradle of the human race. Some of the voodoo Loa may be as old as the Garden of Eden itself. We still can't explain some of the real power of these primal religions. And note, I said primal, not primitive. There are African Bokors who baffle our scientists with their supernatural powers. Now, let's discuss the elements of voodoo.
Fascinating guy.
In voodoo, the spirits are called the Loa. During a voodoo ceremony, celebrants are possessed by the Loa. This is called being ridden. The human worshipper is seen as a horse, and the Loa as the divine horseman. A person being ridden by a Loa takes on the characteristics of that spirit and becomes, in effect, merely a vessel for the more powerful entity. Some of the older original Africa Loa include Dambala, the great serpent god, Ezuli, the mistress of love, Papanibo, or Gede, the lord of death, Awe, the spirit of water, Legba, spirit of the crossroads, and the cruelest and most dangerous, Ogun Badagri, the lord of destruction.
I gotta get more sleep at night.
Tribe-specific Loa can have as much or more power as the more widely worshipped Loa. For instance, a particular tribe might revere highly the Loa of an ancestor who was a legendary hunter or politician. Voodoo temples are called houndfors. Their priests, Houngan or Bokors, their priestesses, Mama Loa. In a voodoo houndfor, there's a ritual circle marked by a center pole called a poto meton. During ritual conclaves, initiates dance under the supervision of a Bokor and a Mama Loa, or head priestess. The use of totems or animal masks and markings was not uncommon in the original African ceremonies. Now, though, all but the oldest sects have abandoned this practice. Ritual objects used during the conclaves included the ritual gourd, or asan, the ritual knife, or kubasa,
That knife gives me the chills.
the ritual whip, or fouetcache, and the ritual coffin, or seke madule. These items are often optional, called for by the Mama Loa for specific magical rituals. The Mama Loa is the most powerful figure in any voodoo sect. Voodoo is a truly matriarchal system. Even the Bokor knows his power is limited. The Mama Loa is the supreme woman. She goes out of her house at night, sees many things, and tries to get butterflies, and at night again she sees other things, including fireflies.
Firelight,
Gabriel? What? Can't see.
Gabriel, get in.
Can't. It's too small for me.
You must get in, Gabriel.
It's not mine. Too small.
Hide, Gabriel, hide.
No! Let me out! Help!
Young man, the lecture is over.
Oh my God. Sorry.
Why would you sit in the front row, Gabe? Why would you sit in the front row? Alright, so now it's time to talk to Professor Hartridge. Unfortunately, you can't talk to him in his office at this point. At least I don't think you can.
Are you a student?
No. My name is Knight. Gabriel Knight.
Well, you've already interrupted and slept through my lecture, Mr. Knight. I hope you have something worthwhile to do here. If you figure it out, let me know.
Oh, I do have something worthwhile. Let's talk.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
You already sat through my lecture on the subject, Mr. Knight. Perhaps next time you could stay awake and learn something.
Yeah, I feel like he's more badass.
What do you know
in
about
the
the
other
voodoo
game.
murders?
I've read about them in the papers.
You look some more
I must
nerdy
admit
now.
to some interest. But according to the newspapers, the voodoo aspect is faked, so I haven't really pursued it. You know how Americans, especially Hollywood, treat voodoo. I'm sure there are many so-called practitioners out there that have no idea what they're doing or the power they're playing with.
Or maybe they do.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
I find it interesting to see the occasional fragment of voodoo practices in the everyday culture of New Orleans.
What about else?
What else can you tell me about New Orleans?
The Catholic Church has always dominated in New Orleans, and its imagery, in turn, has dominated New Orleans voodoo.
What else can you tell me about New Orleans?
If there's more you wish to know, perhaps you should read my books.
What, you wrote books about New Orleans?
Do you know anything about snakes?
I'm not a zoologist, Mr. Knight, but I know all I care to about reptiles.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
It's June 23rd, the feast day of St. John the Baptist. But June 23rd has been a sacred day since the earliest times. Ancient sun worshippers used to roll a flaming wheel down a hill to celebrate the sun's descent on that day.
A burning wheel. Do you know what Capri Saint-Corps means?
Cabri Saint-Corps? Yes, I do. It's a Haitian term, I believe. It's French, and literally translates as goat without horns.
As in a female goat?
No, as in a human sacrifice. Sacrifices in voodoo are usually of the animal variety. Chickens, bulls, goats. If the gods demand a goat without horns, it means a human being.
Jeez Louise.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
While I find the colloquial bastardizations of voodoo somewhat interesting, from a sheerly intellectual point of view, there's not a lot of relation between people like Laveau and true voodoo practices.
Really?
Do you know anything about animal masks?
As I said in my lecture, which I assume you actually listened to, is that animal masks, totems, are used extensively in most African voodoo religions.
What about Veves?
Do you know anything about Veves?
If you'd taken notes during my lecture, you wouldn't have to ask.
What about
Tell me
Dambala?
about Dambala.
Dambala is one of the major Rada Loa, also known as Dambala Wedo. He is an ancient Dahomian rain god, often represented as a large boa constrictor. Dambala is the most powerful and most violent of the Rada Loa. The Rada Loa are typically benevolent, as opposed, say, to the Patro Loa. He is still worshipped heavily in Haiti. And when voodoo first started in New Orleans, the early conclaves were reportedly based on the worship of the great zombie, the great serpent Dambala.
Dambala.
Tell me more about Dambala.
I have extensive courses in the Loa running next semester. Perhaps you should take one of those, Mr. Knight.
I don't know if I need to.
Tell me about Ogun Badagri.
Ogun Badagri is one of the Patroloa. The Patroloa are much more violent than the Radaloa. Some people believe the Patroloa originated in Haiti, but I have found some evidence that the Patroloa were African as well, though worshipped only by a small voodoo tribe. and a very bloody one.
Really?
Tell me more about Ogun Badagri.
He is a chief nasty, Mr. Knight. He is the spirit of war and destruction.
Yeah, he seems pretty nasty.
Tell me about yourself.
All right, Mr. Knight. I'm 35, a fully tenured professor at this university, as well as a fellow at Cambridge. My doctorate was obtained at Syracuse. Yes, Syracuse, in religious studies. I'm an agnostic, but I find human belief systems fascinating. I specialize in African religions because I grew up there. My father was a Protestant missionary, and I am heterosexual, when I practice sex at all, which isn't very often. Any other questions?
Oh, no.
Fine.
Yeah, that was,
I'd really like to know more about you.
There have been several articles written about me, Mr. Knight, as well as blurbs on my book jackets. If you want a biography, read.
Tell me more about human sacrifice.
It's very rare. Most voodoo practices do not include human sacrifice as a matter of record, but it is theoretically possible, if that's what the gods demand. For example, one of the chants I had translated for me from a Haitian ritual went like this. Mistress Ezuli, come and aid us. If a cock is demanded, we will give it. If a bull will suffice, behold it. But if a goat without horns is required for sacrifice, oh, where will we find one? Ezuli is the gentlest of Loire, so they call on her for mercy. But I have seen grown and powerful Houngan tremble before possession by one of the more violent Loire, such as Papa Nebo. Clearly, they are afraid that something of the sort will be ordered, or that Loire will simply take it for themselves.
What else do you know about human sacrifice?
Tell me more about human sacrifice.
I wouldn't dwell on it. Most voodoo sects probably haven't seen a human sacrifice for several generations.
Shit, several generations.
Your lecture was terrific.
Oh, you think so? You were snoring so loud I didn't think you'd heard it.
Whoa.
You must travel a lot.
Yes, to Africa mainly.
I'm very interested in voodoo myself right now.
How nice for you.
Alright. So let's show Professor Hartridge the reconstructed Bebe.
Can
What
you
did you
tell me
think about
anything about this?
Wow. Interesting. Very interesting. Mind if I copy this?
Be my guest.
Great. I'll be right back. Here you go. You know, this is a fascinating Veve. You must tell me all about its origin.
Actually, I was hoping you'd tell me. Can you figure out anything about it from the symbols?
Well, some. That's why I wanted a copy. I want to research the design myself.
Have you heard of the voodoo murders?
No. You're kidding. Really? Then the voodoo is authentic. The newspapers are wrong. Boy, are they wrong.
You think this Veve is authentic?
Authentic? Mr. Knight, that's like asking if the Mona Lisa is a painting. Tell you what, I'll look into these symbols myself and see what I can learn about the sect that made this. I'll give you a call when I have more information. You are associated with the police, aren't you?
Absolutely. But I'm undercover. You can contact me at St. George's Bookshop in the quarter.
All right. Now, I'd like to get started on this, if you don't mind.
Let's show him the murder photo, why not, right? Maybe he knows more about this.
Is there anything you can tell me about the voodoo aspects of this photograph?
This is a serious voodoo ritual. Nasty stuff.
In what way?
Let's see. I can't make out much detail from this photograph, except for the corpse, of course, but the wound, the face, and what little I can see of the ritual paraphernalia, it reminds me of certain black voodoo practices. Very rare. I've never witnessed them myself, you understand.
Really? Interesting. Thanks.
Alright, so that's it. That's pretty much it.
I'll be going.
Oh, do keep in touch.
Yep, so now we got Professor Hartridge helping us out. Let's head to the St. Louis Cathedral. This is actually a little bit different. We've never been here before. So if we come into the confessional... And if we look over here, we got a small knothole.
There's a knothole about the size of a quarter in the wood paneling on that wall.
May I help you, my child?
I'd like to make a confession.
All right, if it'll make you feel better.
I think I just need to give an overall apology to the universe.
I see. Apology noted.
Thanks, Father.
Is there anything else?
I've had impure thoughts about a woman I met.
Impure thoughts? You mean thoughts of sexual relations?
You could say that, but worse than what you mean.
Worse? You mean extreme sexual relations?
Extreme.
Well, not involving animals or anything.
Or dead people.
Well, perhaps we should just leave it at that. Pray for forgiveness and say 10 rosaries. Is there anything else?
No, that's it.
Nope, that's it.
Goodbye then. Peace go with you.
Yeah, I guess there's something we gotta do in here.
The panel behind the mesh window moves from the other side.
I guess we gotta confess until the guy takes a lunch break. Then we gotta go into the...
May I help you, my child?
I don't know. Confession.
I'd like to make...
All right.
I've done some pretty rotten things to my friend Mosley.
Rotten? What do you mean?
Practical jokes, insults, among other things.
I see. Are you sorry?
Well...
Pray for forgiveness and say 3 rosaries. Is there anything else?
Yeah, let's unpaid
I haven't
assistant.
paid my assistant for 3 months.
Have you had the money?
Nope.
Sounds like a matter for the courts, son. Not the church. Is there anything else?
Yeah, a bunch of stuff.
Some people say I'm a selfish person, Father.
We can always strive to improve ourselves. Patterns can be broken.
Yes. Thank you, Father.
Is there anything else?
Yeah, let's keep praying.
I've had a lot of women, Father.
Like
A lot? More than 10?
Yes, Father.
More than 20?
Yes, Father.
More than 40?
Yes, Father.
Son, I don't think this is a matter for a priest. I think you need a good therapist.
If we're counting therapists, then I'm up to at least, let's see here, count of the 1, and, this might take a while.
My son, I'm afraid my lunch break is coming on about now. Pray for forgiveness and say 20 rosaries.
Alright, there we go. So now...
On second thought, when you finish the math, say that many rosaries.
Gabriel hears him leave the confessional.
Alright, this is what
I
we
should
got.
probably add 1 more rosary for that while I'm at it. I've been a bad boy.
Yeah, so this part was not in the original. You just went in the back and just stole the...
I've always wondered how the other half lives.
You just kind of went in the back and stole the priest collar thing.
Inside the box, Gabriel finds a priest collar and some oil used for blessing. That oil is for holy purposes, not the sort of thing Gabriel would want to use it for.
Alright, so let's take the...
You never know when a priest's collar will come in handy.
And there we go, that's all we need from here. Let's exit. And we'll just exit the map. So now let's try going to Madame Casigno's residence. You know, she lives in a better place like in the other game. Here it feels like she lives in a shithole.
Yes? Who is it?
Land shark.
Land shark.
You are no Bill Murray. Yes? Who is it?
Please let me talk to you, Madam Casino.
I do not talk to strangers, young man.
Yeah, so anyways, you find out that she's a good Catholic woman, and you really can't do anything about it right now. So what we need to do is pretend...
Hello, beautiful. It's me.
The excitement of seeing you is killing me.
So let's head into the bedroom, the boudoir, and talk to Madame Casino, huh? Take our black shirt.
I might be able to use this black shirt.
Alright, so now we have a collar and a shirt. Leaving again.
See you later.
See ya.
Alright, what I'll do is I'll talk to Casino and then we'll call it a day. So now we have the priest disguise.
All right, but this is private.
Alright, now Gabriel's a priest. Let's go talk to Casino.
Yes? Who is it?
I'm Father McLaughlin.
It's Father McLaughlin to see you.
Father McLaughlin, you say? You must be new in the parish. I'm so pleased to meet you, Father. Do come in.
Thank you, my child.
Please be seated, Father.
Thank you.
Now, what can I do for you?
Yeah, let's talk to her, I guess.
Nice doggy. Good Castro.
Yeah, look at the shit she's got all over the place.
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions, my child?
Of course not, mon père.
Alright, so let's start with Voodoo.
What can you tell me about Voodoo?
People think I'm just a foolish old woman, but I know the things they do. My family's been in New Orleans since 1750, so I know more than most. Voodoo people are all over the city, in the shops, everywhere. They'll curse you like that, and most people don't even notice. Spit on your bread at the bakery. Take strands of your hair at the store when you try on clothes. Oh, you have to be so careful. But I know their ways, so I can protect myself. I know how to use the magic too, and I can counteract their evil spells.
Yeah, what else do you know?
Tell me more about Voodoo in New Orleans.
It's just plain evil. It's dangerous to even discuss it.
What an old bag.
What do you know about the Voodoo murders?
Voodoo murders? Ah, they are nothing new to me, Father. They happen all the time. I hardly go out anymore. It's too dangerous in the streets. They can get you anywhere, you know. Even here, in this room. But I try not to let them know about me. That's the best way.
What else do you know?
What else do you know about the Voodoo murders?
Shh! They'll hear you.
Alright, what about New Orleans?
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
The only true New Orleans are of French origin, you know. My family were among the original settlers of New Orleans. They came here from France. The Creole society used to be so gay in New Orleans. Now, it barely hangs on by its fingernails.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Snakes, they're evil creatures. Did you know that evil people can send them into your dreams? They can. That's why I never sleep.
Right, thanks.
Jeez.
Do you know anything else about snakes?
It would be bad luck to talk about that anymore.
Alright, what about St. John's Eve?
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
Oh, St. John's Eve, Mary. I used to love the St. John's Eve Mass at St. Louis Cathedral. Of course, it is also a night of great wickedness, worse than All Hallows Eve. They will corrupt anything, Father.
They? They who?
Oh, you know.
You know who? You know who? You know. Alright, so I'm actually going to stop the video here. And in the next episode, we will talk with Madame Casagno a little bit more. So I've been Kenshin 1913. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.